You're tuned in to a Grown Folks production. In the mix with the commish, Nate.
All right, what's up, everybody? Welcome to OMFL Media Days. What day are we on? I think we're like day number 7 or 8, something like that. I don't know. They're starting to get away from me now. We've got too many to keep up. I'm pumped, man. We got some cool dudes here. Again, I say this every single time. It is my favorite thing that we do every single show. You get to kind of meet some of these faces. It humanizes everyone. And my first guest up here is one of my favorite guys. Quiet in the chat. I never know how to take him. But you know what? He's a cool dude. He's been here for, I don't know, ever. He's going to have to tell me how long he's been here. I feel like he's been here forever. Your coach of the New York Giants, Mr. Colin. Colin, how you doing today, bud?
Doing well. And you, Nate?
I'm doing good. Let me get your face up here. There we go. I had it turned off, but we got you back on. Colin, how long you been here now? It feels like it's been 5-6 years, something crazy.
I think this might be year 7.
Look at that. That's freaking nuts, man. Well, thank you.
Yeah, I don't know where the time goes.
It goes away really, really quickly, as we all know by the time we get to our age. Colin, did you get to play Madden 24 beta at all? If you did, what do you like? What are you excited about? If you didn't, what are you hearing that you might be excited about?
I didn't get to play the beta. I guess I'm most excited for all the stuff, not necessarily in game, but all the new training and just seeing how all that stuff works. The coffin corner punt drills coming back. Excited for that.
That was always fun, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. I love doing those little mini games.
Even the field goal one where the wind would be blowing and you'd have the 3 different ways you got to hit it. Let's talk about your team, man. You got to move over to the Giants. I think your favorite team, right? Am I wrong about that?
Correct.
Yeah, they got to move over to the Giants last Madden, you and Pepper, with a little bit of a swap there. What's the thing that you need to see from the Giants in season 106?
Just kind of want to see how the defense plays. Hoping I can get a pass rush with like Kayvon Thibodeau, and I got the other linebacker, Azeez Ojulari. So hopefully I can get some speed coming off the edge and get to the quarterback. Because I don't have that stout of a secondary to start. That's going to take a little time to build. So hopefully the pass rush could make life a little bit easier on them.
Well, maybe you can go get Eli Apple again, because Lord knows he hates the New Orleans area. Maybe you can get him to come back over there. What are your real expectations? What do you think that you're going to be able to do in season 106 with those Giants?
I got a kind of tough schedule out of the gate. And I guess not playing Madden since we stopped in April, maybe.
Yeah.
So I figure I'll be a little bit rusty. 8-1. I'd be happy with 500.
Really? I don't know. I don't see it, Colin. You're always one of the top offenses in the league. This is a bonus question. Are we excited about Daniel Jones and this kind of contract that's going to come with him?
I'm importing a quarterback.
Oh.
So probably my first move is going to be to wipe out his bonus and cut him.
Well, there you go. We already got over there to the first move. That sucks whenever they re-sign a player that you're like, oh, God, like I got to manage that cap. I didn't even want to keep that guy. Colin, who's the one player that you can't wait to get your hands on for the Giants?
I kind of have a 1A and 1B. 2 rookies the Giants drafted this year. First off is the cornerback, Deonte Banks. He's got really good physical attributes out of the gate. I'm just going to have to build those coverages up. And then on the other side, I love my wide receivers. And I've got I got Jalen Hyatt. I'm going to look past the fact that he's a Tennessee Volunteer. And really excited to play with those 2 guys.
Trey, what do you got for our dude, Colin?
What up, Colin?
How's it going, Trey?
How's it going? So this year you deal with the cap of Daniel Jones, but you lose the cap of what was probably the worst signing in Giants' recent history in Kenny Galladay. Does having the extra cap at wide receiver make you a little bit more on the move for a wide receiver in the first few weeks of the season?
I'm really deep at wide receiver. With the Giants drafting Jalen Hyatt, and then I'm also my second import's a wide receiver. So then I've also got Sterling Shepard, Darius Slayton, Wandale Robinson. I am probably going to be looking to move a wide receiver, if anything.
With the pending situation still there, is it going to be a priority to sign Barkley, or is it going to be a priority to look for a trade?
I'll be keeping Barkley. I'll be re-signing. He's definitely priority number one. Yeah, it's nice having a workhorse back there, a guy you can just rely on, and don't have any concerns.
The Giants have drafted pretty well off on the offensive line in the last few years. Do you feel like you're good with what they have, or are you looking for one or two more pieces on it?
I'm interested to see how Evan Neal plays. I do have one stalwart at left tackle, Andrew Thomas. But then I got Dwayne with his Cowboys. I mean, he's got two stud pass rushers. So if Evan Neal's, I'm going to find out real quick, week one is Giants-Cowboys. So I'm going to find out real quick if Evan Neal's up to the task or I have to move him to guard and look for another right tackle to try and slow down Parsons and Lawrence.
What do you feel is the biggest need for you on defense? I know you've mentioned you got some young corners now. Do you feel like you need to get a solid number one corner, or is there another piece on the defense that you feel is a priority?
Well, this is probably going to be the best cornerback duo I've had in Madden in a long time. I mean, they're not great, but Adoree Jackson's pretty solid, and Deonte Banks is a great guy to develop. Could always use a third corner. I'm worried about the pass rush, of how good Thibodeau's going to be, and that getting a solid pass rush and making sure I've got that'll be my top priority. Hopefully Dexter Lawrence is getting a bump this year in ratings, so hopefully he'll be a force from the interior.
Sounds good. Well, I know we'll meet quite a few times in the Madden cycle. I look forward to it.
Look forward to it too.
Colin, I got one more from Mr. Maniac. He likes to ask all of our friends to come on here. You plan on building the Giants young, maybe gathering some draft picks and trying to really build that young cohort of players, or are you more interested in veterans that other people are cutting and kind of building your team through free agency? How are you going to build those Giants?
I usually always end up trading a couple like second or third round draft picks to try and pick up some decent plug and play players. If something's there available in free agency, I'm always willing to throw my hat in the ring. I don't have too many crazy contracts with the Giants, and getting rid of Jones's contract will free up some money. Yeah. So I'll probably be a little bit more of a player in free agency than normal.
Colin, I mean it from my heart, man. I got a lot of love and appreciation for you. You've served on both the Deuce board and OMFL board several different times. You've been a contributor, a donation member, and everything. Just a perfect owner, and I just appreciate you, man. Thank you for being a part of Media Days. I know how busy life is, and you still squeezed this in, and I deeply appreciate it, my friend.
Well, it's a two-way street, man. I really do appreciate you, Nate. You run a hell of a community.
Thanks, buddy. Colin is the best, guys. He's quiet. You got to go poke at him sometimes to get him to talk to you, but he is one of the best guys out there. I cannot wait, Colin, to see what your Giants do in season 106. I think you're not going to be 8-8. I think you're going to be a contender and pushing right there with the rest of us to see if we can take down D-Money. We got to take him down. Yeah, I need Colin in the Super Bowl. Well, there you have it, friends. Thank you, Colin, for making time for us. Colin of the New York Giants, one of my favorite people here, man. I'm so glad he was able to make time for us. Coming up next, you can go ahead, Mr. Glaze, and unmute and turn on your camera. Your camera's already off, and come join us. This is your owner of the Denver Broncos. I cannot wait for you to see this handlebar. We got a black box right now, so I think you got to turn on the camera still. Let's see what happens.
It's not
Oh, it's not
letting me.
Oh, what
No.
happened? Let's see if I turn
I
it off
flipped
and turn
it.
it back on. Oh, no. What happened? Let's see real quick. If you leave the room and come right back, I'll have to re-add you, but let's see if that'll fix it real quick.
Cool. Gotcha.
Glaze will be right back. Technical difficulties. What's up, Maniac? What's up, Denbrew? What's up, Bird? What's up, Chris? Good to see you guys. I appreciate you. Thanks for tuning in to Media Days. Let's see if this one works this time.
No.
No. What happened?
Uh-oh.
Oh, no. Well...
Let's see.
Yeah, it was working. I seen him.
Right.
Mr. Trey seen him. He's got this beautiful mustache, goatee situation. I wanted all of you to see. He's rocking the Denver Blues. He is ready to love on my old coach, Mr. Sean Payton.
Yes, I am.
This black box represented next to me is my guy, Mr. Jay Glaze of the Denver Broncos. There's no photo because he was here on video, but now for some reason his phone isn't playing nice. Glaze, let's talk about Madden 24. I will make the assumption that you did not get to mess with it very much, but what are you hearing that excites you the most?
I did not get a mess with it, but the training, the whole approach, I think they revamped it and changed some things. So that's really what I'm looking forward to and hoping it's more fun, I guess, instead of tedious outside of the actual gameplay.
Yeah, hopefully it's not tedious. That's one heck of a way to describe Madden 24. Hopefully that isn't it. What are some of the things that you need to see from the Denver Broncos season 106, the very first one? What are some things you're hoping to learn about your team?
I'm hoping to learn that my run game is improved. I think this is the best offensive line I've had going into a new Madden. I don't think I'm going to...
Hey.
You see me now?
Yeah, okay. What happened?
Yeah, no idea. I just saw it flash. I think the main thing that I need to see is that my offensive line improve. I'm not going to be able to rely on Russell Wilson at all after seeing his rating and after the bad season he had last year. So I'm looking forward to the offensive line for sure.
Oh, you bringing a quarterback with you? You going to draft somebody? What are we doing at quarterback?
Nope. I'm going to draft somebody, see if someone I for some reason I always do go with backups. We have Jarrett Stidham back there. So kind of hoping he'll be able to be plug and play when Russ is throwing 3 interceptions in the first quarter. So
I feel like you've been on the quarterback journey for quite some time. I'm there with you, but I usually bring in import. This time I'm not bringing in import. What are real expectations that you have for your Broncos the first season out of the block?
First season's going to be a little bit of a struggle, especially if I can't find a rhythm for the running game. Not to mention I'm taking like 10 days off in late September, going to Hawaii for our honeymoon.
Nice.
So that's going to be a rough patch, and hopefully my team doesn't completely implode. But yeah, I would assume average 8-8. I'm hoping for. So
we're talking about quarterback a little bit. What's the number one move as soon as you log into the CFM? You're like, yo, this is the first thing I got to do. Is it a release, a signing you're hoping to get? Is it a depth chart? What's the very first number one priority?
Very first priority, I think, is looking at quarterback. Seeing if I can get anybody to trade for a quarterback, maybe a backup free agency, just to give me some depth there. I struggled with Russ when he was in the mid-80s, so I can't imagine what upper 70s would be like with him. Other than that, I think I want to see where my roster goes, possibly trade a top-end receiver, and so see where that leads us.
Well, let's talk about your favorite guy. Who's the one dude on your team you're like, man, I cannot wait to play with this guy?
It's a unit for me. It's the defense, but more so Patrick Surtain. I got really good using corners, probably 2 Maddens ago. And the dude's just a stud, so I can't wait to ball hawk with him back there.
Patrick Surtain is a trigger point for me because he makes me feel old. He was originally supposed to go to LSU. I remember exactly where I was on signing day when we found out Alabama flipped him. And now this dude's like a multi-time Pro Bowler in the NFL. Like, that was so long ago. Trey, what do you got for our guy, Jay Glaze?
Mr. Glaze, what's up?
How's it going, man?
Going. So you're in a very interesting division. How do you feel going off of the up and down spree that was the AFC West last year that you fit in, potentially after the first off season? Because I know you're obviously going to be a little bit away towards probably the midpoint of the season.
I think our division is just always been so crazy. We always tend to beat up on each other. Raiders and I split, Chiefs and I split, Chargers and I split. We'll have those seasons where they'll get me twice, vice versa. So it's always fun, but I feel confident in a way because we played each other so much. So I kind of pick up on some tendencies late in games and to at least be able to compete. So I do feel confident in that Wild West.
Shoot out in the Wild West, eh? Now, defense, you said you're looking forward to it. What you got obviously your star corner and Patrick Surtain. Is there a game plan to maybe get a second corner alongside him or maybe pick up some pass rush to help him out?
I really love our second-year corner, Damari Mathis. He struggled a little bit early on last season in real life, but he's came a long way. We got Zach Allen from the Cardinals. We got Frank Clark from the Chiefs. We still got DJ Jones. We got fast pass rushers on the outside, smart inside linebackers for 3-4. So this might be the first opening season in Madden where I won't be making any adjustments to the defense.
Well, that breaks my heart because I hadn't talked to you later on. But
Yep.
One last thing. If you are to make it to the playoffs in season 106, who do you think would be your biggest matchup on your road to the OMFL Bowl?
Sheesh, AFC East is always tough. Jets, very tough down the line. Bills, stacked roster, But anybody in the AFC West, I think, because especially if you're on the road playing in the playoffs, and whether that's in Los Angeles, KC, or Oakland, Vegas, I think it's a tough call on the road. So,
all right, I look forward to our matchup.
Absolutely, man, always.
Glaze, one more before we get you out of here. Thank you again for making time for us, man. I really do appreciate you. Mr. Maniac, he likes to ask, how do you plan on building this team? Do you plan on going the young route, grabbing some draft picks, trying to build a young core, or do you plan on grabbing some people's veterans that maybe they're trying to get out of, really be a worker in free agency? How do you plan on building the Broncos?
Well, I think I'm at a very good point to build. And I think Russ, being that he's on his way out as far as contract goes, for me, I do plan on drafting a quarterback right away and trying to give up some assets come draft time to move up as much as possible to get the best quarterback available and then hopefully build him up from there. I think I have a good run game and a good offensive line, so it can make a difference for me.
Glaze, you're the man. Thank you so very much. When you go over to Hawaii, make sure that you hook up with our guy Joker. Maybe get you tell him I need an OMFL tattoo somewhere on my body.
Hey.
Maybe a henna tattoo. That's what you could do. That way you can just wipe it off.
There we go.
Glaze, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for hanging out with us. I can't wait to see what you do with your Broncos and Madden 24, bud.
Appreciate you as always, man. Have a good day.
There we have it. Your owner of the Denver Broncos, Mr. Jay Glaze. That guy is awesome. Just one of my favorite people here. I love whenever I get to talk to him. Up next, we're going to see how this goes because we had some issues a while ago, but I thought it looked like he might have figured them out. Bringing up your owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mr. JaBowles. Do we have you? Oh, I seen you on mute, but I don't hear you. Oh no. I don't even know how to help. This is the issue. I don't even know what to say to help you. Outside of maybe jump out of the room, jump back in the room, and make sure that you give it permissions. Oh, wait, no, we have video. I see you. I don't hear you still, though. Oh, no. Trey, you don't hear him, right? Can you hear me,
No.
JaBowles? Yeah, he can hear me. We can't hear you. Since you're on oh, wait, I can hear you now.
That's me, Nate.
Oh, that was you? It sounded like him. Didn't even sound like you. There's a little cog, JaBowles. I'm going to put him on here so y'all can all see him in a second. There's a little cog in the bottom right, and there's like a video source and then audio source. Make sure it's selected on your headphones. No. Technology. It's at the bottom, there's a little speaker. Is your speaker got a red X on it? Well, I can't mute myself, then you won't hear me. Does the speaker have a red X on it? No? No, because it's unmuted. I can see it's unmuted. Oh, I thought I heard something. No. We're gonna try it for a few more seconds here, and then we'll come up with another plan with our guy JaBowles. Oh, I thought I heard something. There we go. I don't know what you did, but you fixed it.
I have no idea. Sorry, guys.
No, you're good, man. It's so funny. You
Yeah.
and your buddy have no clue what you did, but you fixed both of them. Hold on a second. Let me, since you're on camera, let me get you in here. And
Yeah, that works.
let everybody
Kind of
see
just
you,
in the
so.
closet right now, so come out
It's
a
all
little
good.
bit.
Let's get you here. Bam. Let's get a little filter added real quick. Sorry, team.
Oh, hold on. There we go. Sorry.
No, you're all good. While I'm getting this set up, let's talk about Madden 24. I think just like your buddy that we just talked to a while ago, he was talking hella smack about you too, and I think he was doing it because
gosh.
because you couldn't respond back. Let me. I gotta mute you. Where'd you go? Oh, hold on. Control. Yes, I gotta control you there, and then I gotta mute you here because you're gonna be on both of them. There we go. I think we got you. Yeah, look at us. We finally figured it out. We got you going here.
You guys can hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Your guy was telling us that he didn't get to play Madden 24. My assumption is you're just as busy as him, that you didn't get to touch Madden 24. But what you're hearing, anything excite you as we move into the new cycle?
I feel like always a new Madden's just always exciting. I did I did play it a little bit. I don't think I was able to get on and play against, user, but I was able to get in there, kind of mess with the, I guess, revamped Raiders right now with Jimmy G in the back. But I kind of decided to also just take a break. So I've actually been getting down on some Call of Duty,
Nice. Well, your guy,
so
Cincy
just a little
Bird,
break.
he's trying to get that Call of Duty group going on. We're trying to get people stirred up. So come jump in there with us sometime.
Hey, man, I'll have to reach out.
Look, you can have Carr back. I just need him season 1. You can have him after season 1. I gotta get through season 1 with Carr. In real life, though, we're super pumped to have him down here, and it's still on my bucket list to get my butt to Las Vegas and watch a game. So me, you, and Lost, we all got to go watch a Raiders game one day. It's gonna have to happen.
I agree with that.
Let's talk about your team. What are some things that you need to see from the Raiders the first season? What are you hoping to learn about that team?
I'm hoping just to kind of get that chemistry with Jimmy G and, the wide receiver core that we have, because now, Devontae Adams, of course, I always go off with him. Always seem like I just do really well with wide receivers, because I think a few Maddens ago when I had Henry Ruggs, it was, people hated me because it was just a long ball. But with Jacoby Myers, Hunter Renfro, we did lose Darren Waller, but I'm actually bringing over an import, my tight end, to hopefully kind of pair him with, Michael Meyer there in the tight end position. But I'm looking just to kind of hopefully keep that offense going because I feel like I focus more on the offensive side of the ball. I try, I'll let people score 30 or more points on me, but I try to put up 40 plus. So I think that's just always what I've stuck to. But it shoots me in the foot sometimes. So.
Well, as you know, we have farmed the Las Vegas Raiders south down here. So if you want to get rid of Devontae Adams, you just hit me up. I'm sure we can work something out over here.
I'm sure he would love to reunite with Carr. So
you were one of the best offensive players that we've had, and I do remember the Ruggs season, the Adams season. Like it was always the big play, just like. You got him, and then bam, they just break loose. You're like, oh, okay,
yeah.
Now what do I do? What's some real expectations that you have for the Raiders in season 106?
Real expectations, I'm thinking, 500 season. I think just, with the Bills, and I think just all the teams that are just tough, even in the AFC West, like my buddy Glaze talked over there, the AFC West is hard to just come out on top on that, with you the Chiefs there with Shock's fan and the Broncos, me and him always just go toe to toe, and the Chargers just have a really good team. So I think, 500, maybe try and get some division wins, maybe just be the dark horse to, crush some other teams' shots at the playoffs. So, I think that's realistic for me. If I can make like a deep run into the playoffs, sometimes I'll sneak in and I think it was a couple seasons ago where I played Miami, and that Dolphins team was solid, but I ended up upsetting him, and so it's just a little bit it's I don't know, it's hard to say, but I do feel I can get at least a solid 500 season coming in.
That's such a winnable division. If you can figure out the quarterback situation, I think it's there for the taking. Like there's a lot of good players who are also trying to figure out their team. Bonus question: are we keeping Jacobs?
Yes.
Is he a priority to re-sign?
If he stays, I don't know what's going to happen in real life, but he is a priority because he's a solid back. He's probably my second highest overall player on the team. So I'm planning on keeping him long-term if possible. I can utilize, backup running backs. You know me, I'm more of like that, let that ball fly.
Yeah.
So if I could keep him just as a handicap, just when I'm not getting the ball, down the field, then, kind of just ground and pound.
You and I don't get to play a ton, but the few times we had, they've always been really fun games. Well, what is the number one priority, Bowles? You log into the CFM, you get to your Raiders. What's the first thing you got to do with that team?
I think the first thing is I have a solid D line. So, with Max Crosby, Chandler Jones, and then bringing in Tyree Wilson, I think that defensive line is, going to be pretty solid. So I'm hoping to just keep pressure on that quarterback. We do have some, veteran cornerbacks. We just got Marcus Peters. So hoping just to kind of fill in that linebacker situation. But my main priority and main focus is just that defense, because I think I can score on anybody really with this team. But again, it's any given day. One game I can throw for 350 plus yards. The next game could be where they hold me to 150 and Garoppolo has 5 interceptions. So I think really just trying to hone down that defense for me.
Who's the one guy that you cannot wait to play with on the Raiders?
Probably not as exciting, but I can't wait to play with Jimmy G. I want to see just kind of,
Really?
He's not very high. Yeah, not very high overall, but I know with Derek Carr, he had kind of that strong arm. He was able to let the ball fly, but I want to see what he kind of does this first season, and who knows? I may throw in Aiden O'Connell just midway and just say, okay, Jimmy G, you're gone. But I'm kind of excited. Like I said, it's not like a big flashy, I'm excited to play with a certain player, but I think I want to just see how he does.
Yeah, it's such an important position. I think it will be the position for you to kind of figure out for that team. Trey, what do you got for our guy, Bowles?
What up, Mouse?
What's up there, Trey? How you doing?
Doing pretty good. Now, you're saying you're wanting to test Jimmy G out. How,
Yeah.
in essentially a quarterback-driven division, does having mistakes from Jimmy G immediately affect your season? Or do you think you can still overcome them with the likes of using Josh Jacobs and, a stellar defensive pass rush?
I think those mistakes will be huge. So I think limiting those, figuring out like how he plays a little bit, and then understanding, is his arm that strong to throw the deep ball to Adams, or am I going to just kind of try and pick that defense apart? But I think kind of these first few games with how he does, if the mistakes are high, I mean, I might just have to look at a different route, maybe just kind of ground and pound, and I think there's just going to be a lot of figuring it out in the beginning, and if he's really the guy that I want to move forward with, or am I going to be on the same boat like Glaze mentioned, looking for a QB early on, but that's kind of like what I'm thinking.
Now, we had the emergence of a lot of people showing up from inside the AFC last year. Do you think you have the potential to be one of those breakout guys this year?
I wouldn't say this first year, but I think the potential is there. It kind of just depends on what, if I want to keep just, because in the past years, I'm always, like I said, give me a good solid quarterback with the receiving core I have. I mean, I can, throw the ball down the field against anybody, but I think the potential's there. I think it just all depends on how much time, because I know my life can get a little bit busy and crazy. So I think just depending on how much time I can kind of put into the league, I think I can make, runs or even make the playoffs and be that guy that just upset people.
Wanting to be the 7th seed underdog that Mr. Kobe was last year with the Falcons?
Yeah. I actually like that role. I remember like that one game sticks out to me when I played against the Dolphins, and I think everybody had rode me off, and I don't know. I just upset him, and I know he was super, frustrated with that one, as I would be, but I like playing that, dark horse.
Wasn't it a 1-point game too?
Yes.
Yeah. It's crazy.
It was, I don't know what happened in that game, honestly. I think at the end I was just like, okay, that really happened. Well, on to the next opponent.
And finally, you've got Max Crosby. Do you feel like he could be enough of a key piece to open up the rest of the pass rush, or do you feel like you need another key piece alongside him?
I think I feel like he can be the lone piece that I can kind of just build around him. I don't think I need another superstar, although I hope Tyree Wilson can kind of, come in and wreak a little bit of havoc. I know in the past, the past Madden, I kind of worked him up to kind of what he is now, because I think he has a lot higher overall rating, and I even think he's an X factor, even though we don't really use that in our franchise. But I think him just being the dominant presence that he is, bringing on those double teams can open up for, the nose tackle or the defensive tackle, and just kind of open up on that other side.
All right. Well, I know we have a Week 8 matchup for the first season. I look forward to seeing how the teams lay out.
Yes, sir. It's going to be exciting. Nice talking to you, bud.
One more for you before we get you out of here. Mr.
Yes,
Maniac,
sir.
he always likes to ask, do you plan on building this team young through the draft, getting you some draft picks, or do you plan on grabbing other people as maybe veterans on the last year of their contracts or being really active in free agency? You going the rookie route or the veteran route?
I feel like I have a pretty youthful team, fairly, but I'm probably going more the veteran route, I think I would say.
Well, man, thank you. I appreciate you working through some technical difficulties and hanging out with us.
Hey, we got it.
We got it. We did it. Yeah, I can't wait to see what you do with the Raiders in Madden 24. I've always said that when the Raiders, the Broncos, when you guys are able to get your teams rocking and rolling, it makes the AFC that much better. And when the AFC is that much better, it makes for better bowl games. It makes for just a better, more competitive league. So, man,
Yeah.
I appreciate you. Thank you for being part of the OMFL and for coming to being a part of Media Days.
Hey, thank you for having me. I'm glad I was able to make it. And, hats off to you, Nate, for just this community, man. I'm going to have to hit you guys up when you're on some Call of Duty or something.
Hit up Cincyberg, hit us up, come play with us, and I promise you one of these days I'm going to make it to Las Vegas and we're going to go watch a Raiders-Saints games together.
Hey, that sounds good to me. I'm planning on going to the Raiders-Broncos probably at the beginning of next year. So
That'll be
that's
fun.
where I'll be.
Yeah,
Yep.
you and your buddy will get to hang out. That'll be a good time.
Yes, sir.
Well, there you have it. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. Your owner of the Las Vegas Raiders, Mr. JaBowles. Let's bring in Mr. Trey here. I think we got you, Trey. What? I got to figure out which one you are. I think you're this one. Yes, there you are. What a great set of interviews, man. Colin, Jay Glaze, JaBowles. I say this about Glaze and Bowles specifically. Two of the more quiet guys. I stay engaged with them. I try to stay engaged with everybody, sending some DMs every 2 weeks or whatever it is that I try not to bother people, just to check in, see how people are going. But when those two dudes are plugged in and the jobs and life allow them to stay plugged in, it just makes for a better AFC and just makes for a better, more competitive division, more competitive conference, and it makes us a more competitive league. I can't wait to see what both of those guys can do whenever we get to the new Madden. So any kind of closing thoughts on those interviews before we move over to NFC storylines?
No, a lot of those, it's kind of a hilarious story where with the Broncos, it's the quarterback that's the problem. With the Giants and the Raiders, they're looking to try and keep their running back in while building around them.
For the Broncos and the Raiders specifically, the other two have it figured out, right? Pepper's got his guy. I don't know if he's happy about having his guy because he's now got this $200 million contract. Same for KC. He's got his guy, but also a $250 million contract. The other two teams, it is the key position. They have to figure that out. They got to get the quarterback figured out, which is surprising that neither decided to draft a quarterback or find a quarterback that they could bring with them as an import into Madden 24, because I feel like if I'm either one of those teams, that's a priority. With that said, I'm sitting in a very similar position where I don't know who joined me or didn't join me last night. I had 5 or 6 or 7 people hopping in and out as I did help me pick my imports. It just came down to, all right, got to hold on to Carr 1 year. And it sounds like that's what both the Raiders and the Broncos are doing. It's like, 1 year I'll hang on to Wilson. 1 year I'll hang on to Garoppolo. But here soon I'm going to have to draft somebody or find somebody. But it's pivotal. They got to get that figured out. Let's talk NFC storylines. This was fun when we did it last week and talked AFC storylines. I feel like I carried a lot of it, though. So I want to come to you. What are some of your NFC storylines? Give me your first one right out of the box.
My first storyline is who's going to pull the trigger and let D Money use all 6 of those trade slots to get some sort of weapon to help him out.
Yeah. The nice thing is that it is 6 slots, but it is limited to 3 players, 3 draft picks in game. You can't add a 4th or 5th player.
You can add a 4th or 5th draft pick, though.
You can. Yes, you can do that. You can add extra stuff. I think mine would be around, I mess it up all the time, but I think I get it right this time. The NFC North, and it was NFC Central for 90% of my life, okay? Maybe not that long, but it was NFC Central for a very long time. NFC North
for 20 years now.
I know it has, but I'm an old man, so it feels like it was yesterday. It was the NFC Central. But what happens in that division, and it is the story of the quarterback position. Aaron Rodgers, he gone. Lions, you're going to, from what I remember, you're not bringing a quarterback with you. You've got some options there with Golf. You've got some options with Hendon Hooker. The Chicago Bears, right? Why am I slipping on his name all of a sudden?
Justin Fields.
Fields. Does Fields take that next step forward and really begin to push that team forward? It sounded like Big Hurt was a little on the fence about Fields. I'm not sure if he's going to be fully on board with Fields and Minnesota Vikings. You can't play Kirk Cousins forever. What's the backup plan there? I think maybe he might even be bringing a quarterback. I'm not 100% sure there. To me, it's the tell of the quarterback in the NFC North, because if guys are going to compete with you and take the division from you, it is going to take a great quarterback. And that's a big, big storyline for me. What's the second storyline for the NFC for you?
The second storyline for me is who is going to walk out of the NFC South as, the dominant one. We've seen a lot of fluctuation of owners rotating with the Falcons the last couple seasons. Are we going to get somebody that solidifies himself and takes Desmond Ridder and crew on as a task, and will they succeed with him overall? We know that Kevin with the Bucks is a dominant presence when he's checked in and able to be. We know that Carolina and Panthers can be on the lowest of lows, but can also take on the highest of highs and compete with the top of the NFC. And then we have you, Nate, who showed that you can get the system rolling. You can go and upset the D-Moneys and the D-Waynes of the league.
It's a big question mark for me as well. What happens with the NFC South? It feels like all of those teams have had some real-life rebuilds. Carolina, how are you building around Young? How are you building around a young core, a young nucleus of players, especially at receiver, especially at the defense? You've got, I would argue, the two best youngest cornerback duo in the entire league, right? How do you build around that? You've got to do some rebuilding there at running back. I don't know his team 100%, but I think they drafted a couple players. I don't know how good Madden was or wasn't. When you looked at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, it sounds like he's bringing over his quarterback. That's going to help that team take a step forward. What are you doing at running back? What are you doing at receiver? Are you paying Evans? Are you paying these older, aging veterans to stay on that team? What are you doing on the defensive side? White's going to be up for a contract. Then you talk about the Falcons. It sounds like people are now pulling at the Falcons. I don't understand what's going on with the Falcons. It feels like people want them, and then they get them, and they don't stay, and then other people want them. So Maniac is moving over there because of when his favorite college, the Texas Longhorns, their player Robinson goes over to the Falcons. He wants to play with him. What are you doing at quarterback? You've got some young core pieces, but do they come together the way that you're hoping them to come together? Deion Jones is no longer on that team. So there's some question marks about how that team comes together. I feel like my team is most put together, but not built for the long haul. My team is going to need some help with the salary cap, with the aging players like a Thomas, like a Carr, like a Jordan. So how am I rebuilding that team outside of season 106 to go the long haul? And then, as I announced last night on my stream, I'm not taking over a quarterback. There's some question. I kind of went back and forth. I'm going to stick it out with Carr. Can Carr get me where I want to go and at least win the division? You can't win in the playoffs and go on a run unless you get in the playoffs. So it's all up in the air. Very intriguing division for me. It's an interesting question to see how it's going to play out. Give me your third storyline.
My third storyline is Wayne going to be fully checked in all year? Because we saw last year there were points where Wayne it just seemed like he wasn't there. And you would check out, or you get to the playoffs and it just wouldn't be the same Wayne. Are we going to get a rejuvenated is what I'm looking for, Wayne?
Yeah.
To where he's back to being the one that's giving D-Money the biggest push of the conference? Or are we going to get the D-Wayne that showed up last year where you didn't really know if he was on or off and could easily be upset by almost anybody?
Yeah, it felt like he he didn't quite life changed for him, new job. He's been gallivanting all over the world, him and his wife. And so I'm interested. It felt like he just didn't have quite enough to get all the way there. One of my storylines is going to be there's a group of teams. I named the entire NFC South. They would fit in this group. But I would also put Twinkie and his Eagles. I would put Bird and the Washington Commanders. There's this small group of teams that you're just intrigued by, and teams that I believe in. Like, I believe Bird is a better player coach than the Washington Commanders are a team, but he elevates them to that point. Does he have enough in that roster to get them there and compete in the NFC? When I think about Twinkie, I think he's got a good team, and he kind of up and down as a coach. Can he get that team? Probably one of the most overrated teams. Some would argue with me, but out of the box, that team's going to be very inflated because of their run last year. Does Twinkie have enough to get that team over the edge? We've talked to Tim and the Rams. We've seen him run hot and cold. We've had Joker on here, and we talked about the Cardinals. He's not a big fan. If he moves Kyler Murray, that could be a big mix-up. So a little bit like the rookies in the AFC, I think the storyline for the NFC is these groups of teams and the quarterback position. I'm kind of combining both of those in one. It's going to be interesting to see what happens. Any other storylines you got for the NFC?
Not that I can think of.
I think for me, there's going to be one last one, and something that you and I talked about on the last OMFL Media Days. It was about the running back position, and there's so many free agent running backs. The running back position in the NFC is going to look completely different. You've got Green Bay bringing his guy over, name slipping me. You probably remember because you face him twice every single season. Oh, no, Trey's finally looking up in the air. He doesn't remember either. Anyway,
I don't remember him because I just shut him down all the time.
He's in his 30s, though, and he's coming over on a fat contract. The Falcons is going to have his rookie running back.
Bijan Robinson?
B.J. Robinson, yeah. The Saints with Alvin Kamara. He's getting older. Carolina no longer has McCaffrey. The 49ers have McCaffrey. Sounds like he doesn't love him, though, and he's looking to move him. The Dallas Cowboys, they no longer have Zeke. Does he go out and sign Zeke? Does he give Pollard the bag? It's just all over the place with teams and the running back position. I think it's going to be interesting to see who comes to the top, who becomes one of the top running backs. And I think, Trey, it's going to be names that we haven't even talked about. Gibbs, you're Gibbs. I think he has the potential to be a top running back in the NFC. I just have a feeling it's going to be a name and maybe a team that we haven't seen before, and I feel like season one out of every Madden tends to be the season that we see the most run-heavy offenses. I think as time progresses, EA deflates defense a little bit better because offensive sells tickets and it sells Madden games, and they want to make it easy to score points. Nobody wants to see a 3-6 game. They want a 45 to 44 game or something like that, right? They want to see those high-scoring games. So I think as Madden progresses, they dumb down the defense. Guys start to figure out the pass game. They start to score more. They start to do like Colin said, right? And the Raiders said, I like to spread everybody out and put up points. The first season to me feels like it could be the most run heavy.
And you bring up a valid point to that. I'm just going off of my head. I think the only running backs that are still on their team that was the start of last Madden cycle is Barkley and then Priest running back that he's bringing over. I think everybody else is having a different running back now.
Kamara staked as well. Right. Yeah, but there's not many. The point is if the quarterback position's brand new in the AFC, the running back position will be brand new in the NFC, and it's just going to make for an interesting kind of play out to the season. Trey, this has been fun, man. Another great OMFL Media Days is in the books. We've covered some AFC storylines, some NFC storylines. The chat's been popping. It's been fun. Give me some closing thoughts as we wrap up today's show.
It's not so much a league focused thing, but I reports, and I can confirm what I saw off PlayStation. we're getting Madden if you get the deluxe edition really early. It's not a midnight release. I think I'm getting it at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, so like 8 Eastern. So if you're not busy on a Monday night, that's pretty good if you have the deluxe edition, which is, I think everybody that got the 50% is getting the deluxe edition, because I don't think they're giving out the code for anything else.
Yeah, I think you're right. Yeah, I guess that's not really an update, but I've been following the threads on EA, and I've been posting my own thoughts. It seems like deluxe is going to be it. And so you either want to pay the normal game price and get the deluxe, or you don't. It won't fully surprise me if we lose an owner or two. I hope not. I hope people don't make that decision, but it's not my decision to make. It's every owner's decision to make, and we have guys that would gladly take spots back if we're going to have spots that are open. But that seems like that's going to be the deal, and it feels like they fixed Xboxes, so I'm expecting them, if they haven't already, to fix the PlayStation One. I need to go pull it up, because they said you need to pull up the game, and when you pull it up in like PlayStation Store, it may show the discount. I need to go do it and see, though.
Yeah, I pre-ordered mine, and when I went through in-game, it just brought up the deluxe edition.
Yeah. I'm feeling in my gut more and more that's what it's going to be, and there are going to be a lot of unhappy people if EA does do it that way. It's an HR miss. That's for a PR miss. That's for sure. It's not going to be great. Well, I think it's been a great show.
I'm still happy though. I still get the game a lot cheaper than I normally would have to. I think I paid
100%.
$60 versus the like $100 I would normally had to pay.
Yep, it's still cheaper. We'll see. We'll see what guides do. I love doing this again. I've said it time and time again, because you get to see people's personality. Like Colin is such a direct, to the point, short and sweet message. At least with me, it's like short, sweet, bam, get there. Even though I said that today, and he posted a bunch of stuff today. But then you get him on camera, it's like there's a lot of personality there. There's a lot, like I'd love to get him back on camera more. And I think so many of these guys have been so cool about coming and being on camera. Most guys send me photos and then they end up being on camera here anyway. It'd be great to see more guys try to get on stream and put their face on stream, because there's a lot of personality in the OMFL, and you get to really see that personality whenever somebody's on camera. So I appreciate everybody. Trey, thank you again for showing up for another OMFL Media Days. I got church tonight, so I got to go get myself ready. We'll see you Wednesday. Wednesday. We have another Media Days on Wednesday. So, guys, come hang out with us on Wednesday. Trey, thank you. Everybody who showed up today, I appreciate you. Chat, I see you. I love you. Thank you. We'll see you later. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Smash that like and subscribe.